You know, it isn't every day that I play a game with a man who eats newborn fetuses, a group of gods describing the feeling of a breeze on their dicks, or a pair of clones discussing the idea of licking each other's assholes. But then again, it's not every day that I play Trover Saves the Universe. I'd seen tidbits of this game here and there and thought it looked pretty amusing, but never thought about picking it up. I then ended up receiving the game as a gift for my birthday a few weeks ago, and so not knowing what to expect, I went into this fairly intrigued. What I experienced was a bizarre, hilarious, and entertaining little adventure that is so fucked up in all the right ways, and it certainly surpassed any expectations I had for it. Trover Saves the Universe is a VR platformer from Justin Roiland, the co-creator of and lead voice actor on Rick and Morty and his studio Squanch Games. And from hearing that alone, you can probably gauge the tone of this game. The story follows you as a Chairorpion, a creature who never leaves its chair. Your two dogs are captured by a being called Glorkon, who uses them to give him power and cause chaos. You are then recruited by and teamed up with a guy named Trover, and together you must go on a journey to stop Glorkon. So yeah, a very basic good guys go on quest to stop bad guy plot. But really, it doesn't need to be anything special, and just needs to act as a catalyst for a silly quest with a bunch of jokes and quirky characters along the way. Cause really, the humour is the focus in a game like this, and it succeeds wonderfully. And I think a lot of that comes down to Justin Roiland and his delivery. He provides the voices for almost every character in the game, even using his iconic voices like his Morty voice for Trover and his Rick voice for Glorkon and all of his clone army. Yes, every single generic enemy in the game has that Rick voice, but honestly, it does not get grating at all. The dialogue is improvised a lot of the time, breaking the fourth wall, and even on occasions where he breaks character, fluffing a line and corpsing, but they just animate it into the game.
We're gonna put a special effect on all this so it sounds like three voices, like a flange or a chorus effect or something. So it actually sounds like three characters talking, despite the fact that it's just me, the voice actor, talking.
You can tell he's just having a blast with it, and his comedic timing really elevates the humour tenfold. Honestly, I could just listen to the ongoing dialogue these characters have and I would be pretty satisfied. The way he portrays these quite often crazy, shocking and nonsensical situations as if it's completely normal is hilarious, and it had me laughing from beginning to end. Now granted, humour is subjective, and if you're not really a fan of his style of comedy or the Rick and Morty sense of humour, then this may not be for you. The comedy is a huge focal point in this game, and if you're not really feeling it, then it may dampen the experience. Thankfully, the gameplay, at least for the kind of game that it is, does hold its ground. Now, I know that this game is designed first and foremost to be played in VR, and is probably the optimal way to experience it. But due to me not owning a PSVR headset, I had to play without it, which thankfully the game supports, and it actually still plays very well. You play from the perspective of the Chairorpion and move Trover around the environment. The Chairorpion can only move via teleporting, but can raise their chair up and down to alter the perspective, as well as moving items and interacting with the environment. Whereas Trover is able to move freely, platform and engage in combat, and actually makes for a fairly interesting and unique style of platformer. And it's done very seamlessly to make controlling both the Chairorpion and Trover as one unit very slick, using both their abilities to progress through the game. And I'm sure it's probably more impressive and effective when played in VR. Now, due to it being a VR-centric game, the gameplay does need to be kept reasonably simplistic, which it is. It's very linear, and the platforming is not particularly challenging or complex, and the combat is very basic. Granted, as the game goes on, it does introduce more enemies that need a bit more strategy to beat, but ultimately the mechanics remain very simple. But with the style of gameplay it's going for, I think it's acceptable that they keep it simple, because I feel if they were to make it more complex, it may not have worked as well. But that's not to say it has no moments of interesting design at all. There are plenty of moments with some good puzzle platforming and some very light collectathon elements with these green power babies that are hidden in every nook and cranny of the levels. And collecting all of them gives you perhaps one of the most stupid, anticlimactic, meta and funny rewards I have seen in a game, though I won't spoil it here. The gameplay overall isn't bad or boring, it's just simplistic, but it's easy to understand and it complements the style of game that it is nicely and in a non-strenuous way. It's also a good touch that the game, despite being designed for VR, allows for the option to play without it. I suppose the one thing that really keeps me from recommending it is its current price tag. £30 really is asking a lot for this game, considering I was able to 100% it in about 5 to 6 hours. I understand that most VR games like this are typically very short, and the game is fun while it lasts, but I'm sorry, £30 is way too much for this. So if you are looking to pick this up, I would recommend waiting for it to go on sale.
I thought we weren't gonna do that in this game. I thought we agreed we weren't gonna do those sorts of game mechanics in this game. That's not what this game's about. Jesus Christ!
Despite the short length, Trover Saves the Universe was a genuine surprise to me. Its gameplay, though simple, has a very unique style and is completely held together by its hilarious writing, designs, and voice performances. It's a short but very sweet adventure that I would certainly recommend whether you have a VR headset or not, though I would recommend you wait for a price reduction before grabbing it. So today, I will give Trover Saves the Universe an 8 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Feel free to like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.
And if we can connect to Glorkon's mind, we can see what he's doing, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. Get the fuck out of here. We already said this.